Hi everyone, meteorologist Ethan Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center on our Wednesday edition of 19 at noon. Again, meteorologist Ethan Emery here, and hopefully you're all having a good start to your Wednesday. It's the lunch hour, it's noon, and hopefully you're enjoying the dry weather, at least the quiet weather. I know the dry weather has been impacting a lot of different things, whether it is the crops, gardens, lawns, things of that nature. But there's a lot of outdoor activities, including today, and that, at least the positive news behind it, is it's not affecting those things. Although it is pretty warm when you step outside here going into this afternoon. So again, we're 19 at noon. We are live. We should be live wherever you stream. I'm not exactly sure if we're on the 24/7 weather streaming channel. I know there were some technical things going on with that. There's some technical things going on here, which is why we're a little bit delayed. So again, apologies for that. But we should be live most places, wherever you stream. Well, I know we're live on Facebook and YouTube at least. So we've got that. And of course, anytime you want to ask questions or chat, you go to the Facebook page, chime in there. YouTube will eventually chat there, but for now it's just Facebook. Both the Fox 19 Facebook page and my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. And going into this afternoon, we are looking at pretty nice weather. Now, we can't rule out a sprinkle chance, but I am not really optimistic about that just because right now you notice the cloud development that is there, they're not growing, like a cloud. It's not growing vertically. So that's a sign that there's not a lot of convection to work with, a lot more of a stable atmosphere to work with. There are clouds, though, developing, of course, with this. But temperatures right now are sitting already at 81 degrees. So I did bump up today's temperatures, maybe compared to what you saw earlier this morning with Catherine or Ashley. I was in there getting the forecast updated, and it's just because of the fact that we're drier, so a little bit warmer air will be expected. Now, again, I can't rule out a pop-up, chance for a sprinkle, maybe a light shower. Otherwise, though, we are looking at a dry day in store, just a mix of sun and clouds. And on a regional scope, that I don't necessarily call it a tropical system per se. It was kind of the characteristics of a cyclone you see inland, but it did develop just off the coast of the Carolinas. But regardless, it did make its way into this region. Did bring us a few raindrops yesterday, especially over portions of northern Kentucky. But at this point now, that area of low pressure is now further off to the east at this point, and it will continue to move off to the east. In fact, let me widen this out just a little bit more because I don't think it's grasping the whole picture. So, yeah, so you can see it's, again, over towards the east. And we are looking at some drier air cutting its way through going into tonight and tomorrow. For the majority of the day today, too. 81 this hour over here in Cincinnati. 74 down in Nashville. So a little bit milder down there because of the cloud cover and the rain chances that have been going on there. 78 over towards Detroit, 77 in Pittsburgh, 86 in St. Louis, and the dew points, the measure of the moisture in the air. You're probably feeling it a little bit today versus other days, so you might notice yourself sweating a little bit more compared to the last couple of days if you were outside during that time. And right now, across the tri-state, we've got temperatures anywhere from 79 still over towards Falmouth and Wilmington to 83 over towards Hamilton and at the Lunken Airport. And again, those dew points are a little bit higher now in those low to mid 60s. Certainly not the air you can wear, but definitely noticeable humidity compared to previous days. And the winds are fairly light, 5 to 10 miles per hour. No wind gusts are being reported at this time. But again, I've updated the forecast. I bumped us up to 87, so we've got about 4 hours to obtain a 6-degree temperature jump. That's not unrealistic by any stretch. So I do think we're going to be a little bit warmer today compared to previous days. And with that, mixed sun and clouds, again, you can't rule out a sprinkle chance. And if you're traveling across the region this afternoon, we're not alone with that 87-degree mark. It's also going to be the case over towards Indy, towards Columbus, Cleveland. Sunshine there, but the mid-70s off the Lake Erie coast. Chicago, 85 off the coast of Lake Michigan, down into central Kentucky and Lexington. 82 degrees there. 84 down into Nashville, and 88 over in St. Louis. And I want to show you a forecast model here that might show, again, that sprinkle opportunity this afternoon, but I think most of the tri-state should not be worried or concerned of any rain chance. So, in fact, this model kind of reinforcing that. Notice, if you can see it here, right over towards southwestern Hamilton County, this model is trying to show a little development, but that's about, I think, the most that we could expect. Not necessarily in that location, but there could be a couple of cells like that where they could dump, you know, a few sprinkles, maybe a light shower briefly, but it's not going to amount to much. If anything, any moisture that develops is going to be less than 1/10 of an inch. I can pretty much guarantee that. The atmosphere we have is not really conducive for a lot of moisture right now. The dew points are a little bit higher, so I do think there could be that potential for something to pop up, but moisture amounts are lacking, for a better word, because of the fact that it's just been so dry. Tomorrow, looking at another dry day. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer. And then we go into Friday, also a warm day. But then we go into Friday night into Saturday. Look at this, going into Saturday morning. Now, why are we getting more rain? Why are we introducing rain chances now Friday night and Saturday compared to the last couple of days when we've said, hey, it looks pretty dry? And that's because we're looking at a wave of energy moving through Friday night into Saturday, and might have just enough energy with it that could bring us a couple of pop-up showers, maybe a rumble of thunder here into the tri-state. So again, that's Friday night into Saturday. We've introduced that chance for maybe a pop-up shower or rumble of thunder. And I'll show you that on the wider scope forecast model, which I think does a fairly good job at illustrating this. So let me go ahead and play this out. So this goes into Thursday, Friday. Notice up here towards Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, that is a cluster of storms. It's going to miss us. But it did develop along that wave of energy. We call it a trough. And it's in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And this thing is going to kind of pivot its way into the Ohio Valley. Notice the cloud cover here. Notice the couple of pop-up showers. So it acts like a cold front, but a very weak cold front. And again, it's in the mid-layers of the atmosphere. And this is going to allow for maybe a pop-up chance for a shower, rumble of thunder. Models are beginning to agree with this. I don't suspect anything severe with it. Typically, troughs are not really wild for severe weather threats, at least in this regard, at least in how this is developed. But then it looks like Saturday night into Sunday, it looks dry. But Sunday night into Monday, we've got a warm front moving through. And notice the characteristics here. So I'm holding I normally have this under my shirt, but running out of time today. I got a report after this. But you can see there's a warm front right here. And that warm front is going to allow for pop-up showers, maybe a rumble of thunder on Monday. And then we go into Tuesday. We've got more widespread activity moving in to the tri-state. And then every day basically has a chance for a pop-up shower or rumble of thunder. Every day. All the way through next weekend here into the tri-state. So with that being said, let's show you that 7-day forecast once it loads. So, some optimism and some moisture. Now, that being said, are we looking at any kind of drought-busting rain? No. Again, sprinkles for us today, possible. Saturday, a slight chance for a pop-up shower, rumble of thunder. And even with that, I'm not looking at a lot of heavy rain. It looks like a thunderstorm, if it develops, could bring in a very brief downpour. Very brief. And generally looks to be not a lot of moisture with it. Not in a sense of any kind of flood potential, at least right now. Nothing in that regard. Sunday, it does look dry. It looks hot, high of 90. Monday, of course, we have the Bengals game in town. A few showers, 86. And then Tuesday, a few showers and thunderstorms, 85. Now, Tuesday, looking at some data, Tuesday, we could see maybe a gust of wind in some of these storms. And by that point, that system could have some energy with it. Because if you look beyond the 7-day forecast, which I have not seen this graphic yet, but we'll go ahead and show it anyway. Yes, I do have chances of showers and storms each day. Now, it does not mean it's a washout. Really want to emphasize that. Just we're going to be in an environment that's going to allow for pop-up chances. Now, I was looking at data, and it does look like that Sunday, Monday might be a little bit drier. But we look like we are dealing with some more rain and thunderstorm activity for the first day of October, which is the following Tuesday. So we do have chances for rain, which is good. However, it does not appear to be on the order of what we need. But they're there. We can count our blessings, at least. It's not looking like dry, hot 90s going to the very end of this month into the beginning of October. So in the 14-day forecast, Sunday, which fittingly is the first day of fall, looks to be the last 90-degree day, at least in the near future, in the next 2 weeks at least. Don't want to say too much because I don't want to jinx the fact that we could get warmer again. So that is a 7-day forecast. I want to show you the drought monitor. Again, this will be updated tomorrow morning, 8:30. Catherine should be showing this once it updates around 8:30 tomorrow, roughly, give or take. 8:30, 8:40, somewhere in that time frame we get the new data. But I do fear that all this is just going to get worse because, of course, we have not seen much rain at all this past week. And I would not be surprised if everyone at least has some level of moderate to exceptional drought. And because of this, there are several counties in burn bans. In fact, that is my story today. As my Wednesdays are, I report and I'm talking with a local fire department about being fire wise, being responsible with an open flame, because too often we can forget or not consider the effects of an open flame. Simple as having a cigarette. If you're in a car with a cigarette and you're done with your cigarette butt, just throwing it out on the highway could start a fire. And a lot of places don't need that because, again, of just how dry it has been. So this is updated as of 11 a.m. Almost all of southeast Indiana under a burn ban. Decatur County, the sole outlier here, but I think they're probably going to be convinced to issue a burn ban, especially by tomorrow. And Mason County, also the outlier of not having a burn ban in northern Kentucky in the Fox 19 Now viewing area. And I do suspect that they will likely issue that rather soon, not to put pressure on them, but everyone else around them in the tri-state does have a burn ban. And then in southwest Ohio, it's only for counties that have extreme drought conditions or worse, according to the Ohio State Fire Marshal. And I fear that that could be expanded west as well. So even if your county is not in a burn ban, really important that you be responsible, be mindful of that open flame. Again, I'll have that story for you today, I believe at 4:30, according to my producer. And it's just a way of communicating that, hey, we need to be mindful of what we're doing. Everyone knows it's dry. Everyone knows we're in a drought. Everyone knows that there are burn bans. And, it's not our place to tell you what to do, but it's also a responsibility to let you know that if you do have an open flame, there is a greater threat of that becoming a bigger problem. And that can exasperate the resources of our local fire departments, which, of course, are always very busy. And when you add this to the mix, it just makes it worse. Okay, I think I've said a lot, so now we're going to be live on Facebook. Okay. Steve's chiming in. So we are live on the 24/7 weather streaming channel, on the news app, and also the weather app. So thank you, Steve. Sometimes we're not sure because sometimes, technology can go back and forth. So thank you, Steve. Like to have that confirmation. And if you see us on one of those things and I say I'm not sure, let me know. I appreciate it. Jeff says, hello, Ethan, good afternoon. Bring on the cool weather and the snow. No snow for quite some time, but temperatures do look to moderate a little bit going into the following week. So the very last days of September, I do see temperatures actually going into the upper 70s. Now, it's still above normal for that time of the year, but definitely manageable compared to 90s, which we've got in our 7-day forecast, 3 days of which are at or above 90 degrees. That being Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Alex asking, what's the humidity looking like for Oktoberfest? Good question. I got your answer with the muggy meter. So again, today it's going to be a little bit more humid compared to the last couple of days. So dew points will generally be in the low to mid 60s as they are currently. We go into Thursday and Friday. Humidity does get a bit more comfortable. So if you're going out to Oktoberfest tomorrow or Friday, I think you're going to be feeling pretty good. Humidity not a huge factor. Now we go into Saturday, especially Saturday morning and midday. Remember I mentioned that there's that opportunity for a slight chance for a shower, maybe a rumble of thunder. That is going to be allowing for a little bit more of an increase in humidity. So Saturday, if you're heading out to Oktoberfest, might be a little bit more humid. Now, again, I'm not saying it's, downright muggy or miserable, nothing like that, but it is going to be noticeable humid conditions. So you'll sweat a bit easier on Saturday compared to the next couple of days. And then we go into Sunday. Sunday conditions do improve with regards to humidity. Still hot though, no doubt about that. So if you're asking what's the worst day of Oktoberfest for humidity, it's Saturday. Then after that, I would say maybe Friday, Thursday, and Sunday, not really much of an issue with humidity. Though I would argue that none of those days are really an issue with humidity. It's just going to be the heat, more or less than anything. So that is all the questions on our Fox 19 Facebook page. I'll look at my Facebook page real quick at Ethan Emery WX. And again, hopefully you're all having a good Wednesday so far. No comments or questions on my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. But I'll show you back that 7-day forecast once again. Johnny asking, is this the worst drought we've had? No. So the drought monitor is a relatively new outlook, and I will show you that here in a second. I want to show this 7-day forecast since it's 12:20, but we've got, this is for tomorrow. Anyway, Thursday, man, it's my Monday, can't you tell? Thursday, 89 degrees, sunny and hot, and looking at a little bit lower humidity compared to today, although today is not really humid. It's just more noticeable compared to previous days. Friday, sunny and hot, a high up to 90. Saturday, there's that slight chance we've got a wave of energy moving in. It's going to allow for a little bit more humidity. Sunday is the first day of fall, looking hot, 90. And then Monday, the Bengals Monday Night Football game. There's going to be a few showers in the vicinity as there's a warm front trying to make its way through. Highs will be in the mid-80s. And then Tuesday, some showers and thunderstorm chances. Same goes for Wednesday. And I'm not looking at much in the way of any kind of severe weather threats with that, but Tuesday and Wednesday, if any storm does develop, maybe a gust of wind, as well as lightning. Lightning is also something to take seriously. So to answer your question, Johnny, let's go back to the drought monitor. And no, it's not the worst that we've had in the drought monitor's history. The drought monitor goes back to 1999, so it's been around for about 25 years. And back in 2007, actually around the same time of year, it was around late August through mid-September, we had extreme drought conditions for almost all the Fox 19 Now viewing area. I need to find a way to pull in that data because that'd be really nice to have to show as a reference. but it was late August through mid-September. The drought monitor of 2007 was much worse, as much the tri-state had extreme drought conditions. Now, I will say, to add to that, Johnny, I have not seen exceptional drought conditions in the tri-state before, so this might be the first time we've seen exceptional drought conditions, which is exclusively towards eastern Highland County. But definitely a rough drought. There's no doubt about that. It's saying that this isn't the worst drought is not dismissive. I know there's a recency bias, thinking that this might be the worst. It's definitely, if you compare it to the last 10 years, this is probably the worst drought of the last 10 years. But in the last 25 years with the drought monitor, this is not the worst drought. And there have been worse droughts before the drought monitor came out. Now, there's no labeling of how extreme or severe or moderate they were, but still, I don't want to say it's the worst drought, because it hasn't been. The data supports that from 2007. But still bad, Johnny. It's still impactful. That's not dismissing the fact that a lot of folks are being impacted by this. I know there's a Phase 2 water emergency in Hillsborough. There's burn bans, obviously, and limited water usage in a lot of communities because they want to reserve that water for drinking, things that you need it, plumbing, stuff like that. Because when you're in a drought, watering your lawn is the least of concerns compared to everything else you could use that water for. Just considering that most people's lawns are browning. In fact, I haven't mowed in 4 weeks. It's been a while. Jeff saying, I hope October 30th is cool, no rain or storms, but cool or snow. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I want to say last year, around Halloween, I want to say there was a little bit of snow that day. Let's hope that's the same for us this year. Of course, I haven't really looked at the data that far out, and even if I did, it's not going to be really supportive of anything like that. Bob, how much rain would we need to gain the upper hand on the drought conditions? Now, Steve shows this data quite often, and I don't think he's updated it yet. No. But the last time it was updated, we needed more than 4 inches of rain in order to just maintain. In a span of 4 weeks, we would need 4 inches of rain to maintain where we're at. So we need more than 4 inches of rain to make the drought monitor, or make the drought slow down or begin to recede, which is a lot of rain. And unfortunately, if we get that rain all at once, that's not going to help at all, because the soil won't be able to retain that moisture as easily. It'll run off and go into creeks, streams, and river, eventually the Ohio River. And ultimately, it wouldn't really help. Look at Alexandria. They had a lot of rain a couple weeks ago. Now they're in a moderate drought. But yeah, we need a lot of rain. We need a lot of moderate, steady rain for days on end to, I think, make this improve. And that's a sad note to end on, unfortunately, that we're not going to get that at least for the next couple of weeks. But we do have rain chances Saturday and then going into Monday and Tuesday of next week. So, yeah. Oh, Steve's watching, and he's, yeah, almost all the Fox 19 now viewing it was under an extreme drought. So it was pretty significant that day. And there was exceptional drought conditions for the Deep South in Alabama, Georgia, into the Tennessee Valley. And I want to say it's also into southeastern Kentucky as well. Steve might show you that data tonight when he does weather. But I got to get going. I got to get ready to go to Covington. We're talking about the burn bans in the tri-state and how to be fire responsible in these dry conditions. So I got to hop off here. Got to get ready for Now the Natty coming up at 12:30. So thank you all so much for joining us here on this Wednesday edition of 19 at Noon. Meteorologist Ashley Smith is filling in for Catherine today, so you'll see her at 3 and 4 o'clock. And then you'll see Chief Meteorologist Steve Horsemeyer beginning at 5 right here on Fox 19 Now.